Hello, good morning, Emma here. It's Sunday morning, the 13th of July, and it is quarter to 11. And I have been up since about 6 o'clock this morning, promising myself that I'm going to get this DRE claim form done. And I didn't want it to take my whole Sunday because I did want to do something nice for myself, and I just didn't want it to be about this because so much of my time has been about this for the last couple of weeks. So I got up and smashed it out, and I've just finished it. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Have to have 4.5 hours, like just getting the form in, and let alone all the research that I've done to get my head around it. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit thick, maybe I don't understand it, like maybe it's just taken me ages, but since we had the financial assessment and the officer said needed to contribute at £54 and a penny toward her care cost, and I was horrified. Go look back at the video. I have been, researching, watching webinars, asking AI, asking Google, just looking wherever I can to try to just understand the nuts and bolts of this so that I can reliably understand it and know just what we are able to claim under the disability related expenses. And honestly, it's just taken me a long time. It's really, really complex and nothing's that clear. Sometimes ambiguity within services is actually really good because, it gets made at a government level. And then when it comes down to the local level, you need a level of flexibility and interpretation and ambiguity for it to be able to then be molded into your local authority and what the needs are of that particular area, that particular local authority and those particular people. So yeah, just having a bit of a bone really about that. And and to let you know the reality of the support to get things that are rightfully and legally owed to disabled people. And how many people do not know or do not have the time or do not have someone as crazy as me that will spend hours and hours and hours learning to understand it. And that, no blame on carers or advocates or parents, because you shouldn't have to do this. It is ludicrous. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your relationship. It's not good for anything, really. They should have people that come out, that know this, that know how to do the forms, that are working for the person, for the disabled person, not for the council, but for the disabled person, that know and have expertise in these forms, and they can bash them out because they know what they're doing. They don't need to do hundreds of hours of research to just be able to fill in the bloody form. And the other thing about it is, here's the form. Show you the form. So it says, if you're in receipt of attendance allowance, PIP or DLA, you've got the right to ask for a more detailed assessment of other necessary costs you may have because of your disability. I know you can't see that, but it's like and it says, please read information sheet 29, making allowance for the cost of disability, before completing the form. Did they include information sheet 29 with this form? What do you think? The answer is no, they did not. So, you know, that's just another thing you've got to do. You just got to, like, you know, go online, try and search for sheet 29, read sheet 29, which then actually tells you something quite interesting that I never knew. Let me just pull it up for you. I'll just pause a minute. Okay, so I found it, but you do have to make sure actually that you have the right one for the right year, because you might not have the most up-to-date information. This is the latest one I can find. I don't know if it's the right, because it says all the figures apply to the year from 24-25, so I don't know. But it does say on there that they have a built-in allowance. So it says when we've consulted people about this in the past, most said they did not want to have to produce detailed evidence about what they spend. So the council have decided to make an automatic allowance for other costs of disability without requiring evidence. And when we calculate people's charges, we automatically include an allowance for other costs that they have because of their disability. How much we allow depends on what disability benefits you receive. If you're getting attendance allowance at the lower rate, or disability living allowance care component at the middle rate, or personal independence payment, daily living component at the standard rate, all these three benefits are set at $72.65 from April 24. And we allow, so obviously that's different, because, well, it might be different. I don't know if it's changed. We allow £23.50 per week. And if you're getting a higher enhanced rate of any of the benefits, then they allow £41.12 a week. And if you're not getting any of those things, they allow $5.88 a week. So they're kind of like, they've, I don't know, done some calculation and gone, right, on average, disabled people have specific disability related expenses, and in our case to the value of £23.50 a week. Okay, and I didn't know that, so I literally found out just through my own research, through my own looking, because they couldn't be bothered to include it in the documentation that they sent me, even though it says I need to read it before completing the form. Not that helpful. So where are we going with this? So I've just done the form. I don't know. I've used the calculator on I think it's called like Inclusive London. I'll put the link in the description, because I've used the calculator, and it's an AI calculator, and I spoke to you about it before, and it is a bit clunky, and it's a bit, but it is helpful. You have to stick with it, because it is a little bit annoying, to be honest. But stick with it and use it as the tool, because it is useful. My daughter lived in Surrey, and because she has relocated to Northumberland where we live, her family, and she relocated up, and because of that she still is under Surrey and still has her direct payments from Surrey, and we are still paying the care charge contributions to Surrey. Now, I think I said before in the previous thing that, like, those costs, I think it's like £16 a week So if you remember, or if you haven't seen it, then Northumberland are wanting £54 and a penny a week. So big difference. And I imagine that Ashley's care costs were a lot more because she was living in supported living. She was also getting direct payments for one-to-one support and provisions that she went to. So really big difference. And to be honest, when Surrey said that they're bringing in the care charges, because I can't remember always paying them, to be honest. I feel that was something that happened at some point, and I don't know whether that was when she went into supported living or what. I can't really remember, but I don't remember it always being there, and I remember being a bit offended when it came, because it just seemed to come for no reason. So but anyway, so £16, and you know, it was annoying, but it's like, okay, that felt fairly reasonable. It felt annoying that I don't think disabled people should have to pay at all, to be fair. If they're on benefits, if they're living on benefits, because I think it's like a tax on their benefits or a benefit reduction. So when the council say, oh, disabled people get this much in benefits, nobody's hearing that actually they're not fully getting that, because they've got to pay out, you know, it's expensive to be disabled, you know, and you're not getting a promotion anytime soon, and you're not getting, you know, your shares anytime soon. You're living on quite a low income to begin with. It's a no frills life, really, you know. And so, but it was £16 a week, and I didn't even know disability related expenses existed. 2, the amount that Surrey was asking didn't feel, whilst annoying, wasn't so shocking that I thought, I've got to look into this. Now, you know, Northumberland come in heavy with the 54 quid a week from her benefits, from her low income. And I'm like, nah, not right. So I start looking into it, and I start finding out about the disability related expenses. And it's only through that very, very high threshold that I think Northumberland have got, that like it kind of like alarm bells started ringing, and I'm like, well, she just can't afford that, so I've got to look into it. And that is when I found out about the disability related expenses. And to be honest, maybe if it had been a similar amount, I wouldn't have even done it. But looking back, you know, I could have been doing this with Surrey and gotten that £16 a week right down to probably zero in Venice, if I'm honest. Or at least half or something, you know, and as my partner says, better in our pocket than theirs, you know. It's like, especially when it's like something that is legally hers. So, so it's a funny one for the councils, because I do wonder how many people, you know, just out of can't be botheredness, don't bother and just pay. However, like maybe if you've got a lot of money and you're not living fully on benefits, maybe you just do pay that. I don't know. But if you're living on benefits and you've got an advocate, like, you know, and that is an incredible amount of money a month. You know, imagine someone coming along to you and going, oh, right now, for exactly the same thing, for the same thing you've been having, if not a little bit less, in Surrey, you are now paying like, what is it, £216 a month out of your benefit, that you've got to take a £216 pay cut. If that happened to you in your wages, you would be well annoyed. You know, people are well annoyed when their mortgages go up and they can't afford it. You know, people are well annoyed. It's a lot of money. You know, if someone said, oh, you've got to pay an extra 50 quid, whilst it's annoying, you're like, oh, okay, you know. So, yeah. So, it's because I think of that high thing that it even alerted me, because it's just not realistic. And so now I've gone like through and I'm making sure that I have covered everything I can think of possibly covering. Now, whether it gets approved, I don't know. I have no idea. So I think that let me just pause again and I'll get up what I've done and go through it quickly. Okay, so I've got it here. Honestly, it's just tiring. So I've done I did the DRE calculator, and then they send you an email with it all on, and a bit of a letter, and you can like change it and make adaptations to it once you've got that letter. So I have put things in. We won't go through it fully. Maybe I will on one of the videos, but not today. I need a coffee. So I've put extra clothing because she needs to replace her clothes more due to frequent spills and stains caused by her disability. Because, honestly, I think I said it before. It's like everything goes down it stains, new jumpers, everything need replacing. So I've put that down as an expense. Hobbies and leisure. Because of my disability, I need support to go on day trips with a local coach company. Got to pay for a ticket, for an extra ticket for the personal assistant to go with me, otherwise I can't go. And these are extra costs and they meet the care needs. So I've put that in. Help at home with DIY, because she's got special needs. She cannot climb a ladder. She'll just fall straight off. She'll just like lose her balance, like feeling like she's on top of Mount Everest or something, and just like fall off. And she can't handle tools safely. So, I've put a budget in for some help with DIY. If she wants to put a picture up or move heavy furniture that she can't do, or lay a patio. She wants a patio laid, for her, so she can sit outside in the garden because it's like really uneven and she'll fall. Internet and broadband because, she needs it for assisted technology. Mobile phone because she needs it to keep in touch with carers and family to ensure safety and support. I've put meals at a day centre. I've put hobbies and leisure. So, the extra cost of participating in hobbies and leisure to alleviate anxiety and social isolation. Help in the home with gardening and window cleaning. Some extra costs for like PA tickets. Unbelievably, just as a side note, there's a disco that happens in the town, which is 16 miles away, and it's for special needs people. And unbelievably, they charge for a carer ticket. I'm like, what? Anyway, side note. So that's gone in. And then like, I don't know if we spoke about it before, but like our local cinema, which has like, it might have one big film 6 weeks after it's been released or something, doesn't accept like a CEA card where you can get in for it, where your carer can get in free. So you have to pay for a ticket for a seat because it's just a small local cinema. So things like that, put that in. Yeah, and then transport. So, she doesn't have assessed need for transport. They say that she can use public transport, but as I've probably said before, she can't use public transport. That doesn't exist. And, if she wants to go anywhere at night time, then someone would have to take her because there is zero public transport after 6 p.m. So she wanted to go to the theatre or go and see a friend, go and meet a friend in a pub or something like that. Then, you know, she's either got to get a taxi or her PA has to take her. So that's in there. So in all, so you have to take off the disability living allowance mobility rate, and she just gets like the lower rate. So that has to come off. You need to use that allowance up before it all come off of the DRE. And I think it's I can't remember what it is. It's like £29, I think, £29.90 or 20 or something like that. And so you have to use all of that up first, and then taking off this standard disability related allowance that I've only just learned that Northumberland put in, and take that off. And so then it says that she has DREs of £54 and 33 pence after all those things are taken off. So if they agree to all those, that would mean that she'd be left with having to contribute, I don't know, like £3 or something. Which, fair enough. That's fair enough. And the other thing that, you know, I need to look at doing is, you know, I don't know if it's, I'm unclear whether it's appropriate to put these DREs on this form, or whether actually some of them should go into the care plan and be paid out of the care plan rather than out of my daughter's personal money, out of the benefits. And so I have put a little kind of thing on the bottom of the letter saying that where have I said it? Oh yeah, I'm submitting these transport costs as part of the DRE claim because they represent necessary expenses directly related to meeting my daughter's eligible needs for social participation and community access. At the same time, I'm formally requesting that these transport costs be included and funded through the care plan via direct payment. If the local authority agrees to fund the cost via direct payment, I will update or withdraw this DRE claim accordingly. So if they do say, yeah, it's fair enough, these are regular things that she does need, and you know, you can use the direct payment to pay for the PA costs in this instance, then I'll take it out of the DRE, and then then what she has to contribute will go back up. But then, you know, she'll have more money to pay for that. My point is, like, you know, she can't be paying for it and you charging this. You can't have it both ways. You can have it one or the other way. And it, you know, I don't know what, I couldn't really work out how it was best for my daughter, which way round to do it. So I don't know. And I've put the PA transport in at 45 pence per mile. So there we are. That was my Sunday morning, and it's now 11:10. So I'm going to log off, have a coffee, and try and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Bye for now.